Hey guys, Jonathan here, and LEGO has provided all of the new 2025 January Marvel sets for me to review, and with that, I wanted to do a rank and review of every single minifigure from the January wave. We'll be starting with what I think is the worst figure and working our way up to the best in order, so sit back, relax, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button as we jump into things and get started right away. Well, I can't believe I have to start the video off like this, but the box art does tell us that Dummy is technically a minifigure, and since I vehemently disagree that Dummy should be counted as a minifig, this is dead last on my list. So, I don't know if you guys count it or not, but this comes in the $30 Iron Man car set, and the box literally shows Dummy as a minifig and the advertisement. So, since LEGO says it is, it has to be on the list, but since I disagree, it's dead last on the list. Alright, so, starting at the bottom of the barrel, we've got Venom and Spider-Man in a dead tie for last. Now, the reason for this is we've been getting this Venom since, I believe, 2019, possibly even earlier than that, and this Spider-Man since 2021. So, considering they've both been around for many, many years, and they bring absolutely nothing new to the table that we haven't gotten already, they're both tied for last place. Up next is Black Widow, and she comes in two different sets in this wave, the Civil War Airport Battle, as well as the Marvel logo, and while it is a great figure with an awesome torso print and great leg printing, we've been getting this in tons and tons of sets lately, not to mention two sets in this very wave, so while she was really cool when she debuted, we've gotten her so many times she's kind of lost her specialty if you ask me, and unfortunately all these repeat characters are going to be at the bottom because they introduced the least newness to the table. Along those same lines, we have Captain America from Age of Ultron, and that's really a big reason why he's so low on the list, is because the set he comes in from this wave is supposed to represent Civil War, so the torso isn't accurate to the movie that he's supposed to be portraying from, and overall, it's yet another Steve Rogers that doesn't have dual-molded legs or leg printing, and this figure really doesn't bring anything significant to the table that we haven't already gotten in the last couple years, so unfortunately he's ranked pretty darn low. Okay, up next is Scarlet Witch, and the reason that this one is ranked so low is because in the Endgame final battle from the, all-girls team-up set a couple years ago, that version came with a waist cape, and that waist cape would have been perfect for representing the Civil War version here, so since it's technically a downgrade and doesn't even really represent the movie of the set that it comes in, unfortunately, Wanda has got to be ranked pretty low here as well. It's kind of crazy that a brand new figure like the Winter Soldier is ranked as low as he is, but that's because this figure is literally that terrible. First off, it's our first ever Bucky Barnes to not have some sort of arm printing, but the torso print is really nice. That being said, it's representing the suit from the Winter Soldier movie and looks absolutely nothing like his Civil War outfit, which of course is what the set he comes in is based off of. So he's not accurate to the set he comes in, the head looks nothing like Sebastian Stan, and also at no point in the MCU has Bucky ever had black hair, so the hair isn't accurate, and yeah, it's nice to get printed legs, but come on, there is really no redeeming factor about this figure, except for that awesome torso, which is nice, but it's not even representing what it's supposed to, so it just makes you beat your head against a wall. Come on, LEGO. Okay, up next is Miles' dad from Across the Spider-Verse. Now, this is a very cool figure, don't get me wrong, with that new torso and new head print. I do like that for the optionality to, make customs and all of that, but unfortunately, when we're, comparing against all kinds of other superheroes, a civilian cop just is nowhere near as exciting when it comes to a new torso print and head print as some of the characters that are going to be ranked just a little bit higher. It's not a bad figure at all, I do like it quite a bit, but unfortunately, there are more exciting options in this lineup. Okay, next up is Thor, and the only new thing about this Thor, of course, is that lightning torso, but it is kind of odd because he has the long Endgame hair, and even the long Endgame beard with the lightning eyes, but he comes with Mjolnir, so it's like, is he from Endgame? Is he from Infinity War? It's really hard to say, and unfortunately, the fact that it leaves so many question marks kind of ranks him a little bit lower. Also, there are several figures on this list that literally the only new thing is a torso, so, while this is very, very cool, I do still think there are more exciting figures, hence his semi-low ranking, but to be fair, we're kind of getting to the middle right now. Okay, next up is Comic Book Iron Man, and he's in a very interesting place because the torso and legs have been in two sets previous over the last several years, but both of those sets were 4+ sets, which means they were super overpriced, which also means a lot of collectors didn't pick those up. Now, of course, we get this helmet that opens up top, and this exact figure you see here comes in two different sets, the $15 Ultron Mech set, as well as the $30 Iron Man car set. So it is really nice to finally get this comic book inspired torso and leg combo with a brand new helmet in two different sets. It's a bummer that it's a repeat figure, but at the same time, it's helping us get some pieces that, you probably didn't have because you didn't buy those expensive sets. So while it is semi a repeat figure, it is really nice in its own way. Okay, here we have Spider-Man from the $100 Civil War set, and the thing I really like about this is the head has been used on several Spider-Man figures before, but the torso with the printed arms has only ever appeared in the Sanctum Sanctorum modular set, which is very expensive, which is one of those, discerning factors that means a lot of people might not get that set. So, because of that, I think it is nice to get it in a somewhat cheaper set. I mean, it's still $100, don't get me wrong, but he's not ranked higher or lower. He's ranked perfectly kind of in the middle here because this is a downgrade of that Sanctum figure. The Sanctum figure actually has printed legs that look really, really nice, and I like those quite a bit, but unfortunately we don't get those printed legs here, which does knock him down just a slight peg. Okay, so this is probably dead in the middle, and of course, this is Falcon from the Civil War set. Now, this reuses the head, torso, and legs from the Avengers Tower version, but I do like this quite a bit because we technically get an all-new wing build, which I have to admit does look really good. We've got Red Wing on the back, love that, but a lot of people will not ever have an opportunity to get that $500 Avengers Tower, so I do like that Falcon is in a comparatively cheaper set. Yes, still expensive at $100, I know, but it does give more fans more opportunities to get more Avengers, which I'm always going to give a big thumbs up to. So right here, basically in the middle, of course, is Falcon. Okay, from here on out, every single figure is brand new, and that, of course, starts us off with Spider-Gwen. Now, this is a nice figure, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately, it really doesn't bring anything super new to the table other than the torso, which is cool with the kind of like animation cell studs, if you will, all over the front. I shouldn't say all over, but just subtly placed. One thing I really like about this is the fact that we do get an alternate head so that you could make her, be unmasked. I don't think that that head is super, super great for representing the Into the Spider-Verse version, or rather Across the Spider-Verse in this case, but still, it is a really nice figure and great to get another variant of Gwen, especially with those relatively rare colored hands. Now that I'm placing them, I probably could have switched the places of Hulk and Spider-Gwen on this list just because this Hulk does leave a lot to be desired. First off, it's the very first Hulk that doesn't come with dual molded legs and or printed legs. They're just kind of regular gray legs, which makes it hard to place in the timeline which Hulk this is supposed to be. That being said, I do really like the new torso we get as well as the new head, which gives us a really good opportunity to get as close as we can to making Smart Hulk from Endgame, which is why he's just barely higher on the list than Gwen. Of course, the head can be flipped around to show an angry face on the other side, and this figure comes in the $100 Marvel logo set, which, it's nice to get a quote-unquote new Hulk, but it's absolutely the worst Hulk we've ever gotten as a minifig, so it's really hard to place him on this list, to be honest. Okay, up next we have Black Panther, who has a brand new head and torso for this figure. He comes in two sets, the $30 Iron Man car as well as the $100 Civil War Airport Battle, and because one of those sets is based on the MCU and the other is a comic book, they kind of towed the line with not going all in on giving us a fully comic book version or a fully MCU version, which to me, I think it kind of lets a little bit of sand out of the bag and doesn't make it all that exciting. It is a cool figure. I love getting a new head print and torso print for Black Panther, but unfortunately it just kind of ranks where it does here because it doesn't bring all that crazy newness to the table, although there are technically two brand new pieces. Okay, here we have Red Hulk, and I love this figure because we get that classic comic book version that has the aviator glasses as well as the mustache, but we can flip it around for a more Harrison Ford inspired look, so it's kind of nice that you could get this figure slightly cheaper. I mean, he comes in a $30 set versus the one that comes with the Big Hulk. course, that being this guy right here, and that set is $55. So I just really dig that we can get Red Hulk in minifig scale, and I actually like when we get Hulks at smaller scale. That being said, technically, I guess this Hulk also is one of the first to not have dual molded legs, if you count that, but I guess Red She-Hulk didn't have dual molded legs, so I don't know, maybe that counts. Tough to say. We're talking Green Hulks before. No Green Hulk has ever not had dual molded legs and or printing before that one we looked at earlier, and I will plant my flag on that mountain. Okay, in 8th place, we have the Iron Man Mark 6, and what's so great about this is a fully built out Mark 6, meaning it's kind of like shop ready, and the last Mark 6 we got was actually in the Avengers Tower, but it was battle damaged, so now we have both versions, and I actually do like that the battle damaged version 1 appears to be exclusive to the Avengers Tower. Again, you know, I don't like when things are super duper gate kept. It's nice to have some exclusives in the big sets, but this is a great way to let people still put Mark 6 in their collection as they're building out their Hall of Armors, while leaving something exclusive for those that spent a lot of money on the Avengers Tower. That being said, I think this Mark 6 suit looks really great. It opens up, of course, and got the regular Tony head underneath, and I think they're finally getting a good grasp on how to print these new modern helmets, which you guys know I'm not a big fan of. Didn't mention that earlier, but I think this helmet print looks a lot better than the other one in this wave that we looked at, the comic-inspired one, if you will. So I like this figure a lot, and I think LEGO did a really nice job. In 7th place, we've got the Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman, and I think that this is such a cool figure to add to the collection, with those great dual-molded legs looking awesome, then of course a brand new head and torso print, and when we lift that hair up, you can see it's a double-sided head as well. I just think that this brings a lot to the table and is super, super exciting for fans to be able to get their hands on a relatively obscure comic book character. I'm not saying nobody's ever heard of Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman, in fact, quite the opposite, but you know, it's really great when we get these truly comic book inspired characters, and I love to see it. Along those same lines, we get Anti-Venom in the $15 mech set, which is really cool and such a great addition to our collections. Now, Anti-Venom is sometimes portrayed as a villain, but more often is more of an anti-hero. I suppose hence the Anti-Venom name. Anti-Venom's powers actually include being able to heal illnesses, because Venom, this version of Venom anyway, gets his powers from Mr. Negative. It's like Eddie has separated from the symbiote and is working in a soup kitchen, and then Mr. Negative charges Eddie by accident, and like there's still symbiote traces in his DNA, and it turns him into Anti-Venom, which is, you know, again, like allows him to heal people and stuff like that. So he's kind of like the most good version of Venom we've gotten, if you follow the comics, but once again, in different media like video games and cartoons and stuff, sometimes he's portrayed as a villain. Anyways, it's really great to get this figure, kind of obscure in my book, and that's what I always love to see. In 5th place, we have Miles from Across the Spider-Verse. I cannot believe we're getting Across the Spider-Verse sets and figures now, which I absolutely love, and I love the cell shading. That's the word I was looking for when I was talking about Gwen earlier, with those little dots that are on there, and it just makes it look like the perfect blend between Lego and cartoon. Another thing that's perfect about this is the interchangeable head we get for Miles, which offers a brand new head print and a brand new hairpiece for Miles. I think that they got his expression literally perfect for Lego form, and that's why this ranks so high, because we get a new headpiece, a new torso, a new head, and a new hairpiece, which is awesome. 4 new pieces on one main character. Sign me up. I love it, and thank you to Lego for finally giving us Spider-Verse figures. In 4th place, we have Civil War Iron Man. Now, this would rank higher if not for the new helmet style. That being said, I mean, it's still 4th place on a giant list of minifigs, so it's still ranked pretty dang high. But I do love the new face print on the mask, that is. The Tony head underneath is the same as always. And the new torso print and legs with hip and toe printing. This just looks phenomenal. It's probably my favorite Iron Man to date, since we've gotten the new helmets. Of course, I like the old Iron Mans a lot more by comparison, but I think Lego is finally figuring out how to print these new helmet styles, and I think that this figure stands out really awesome. Getting a brand new faceplate here, as well as a torso and legs, are really awesome. I should say I think the faceplate is new. It could have a slight similarity to another one, but I'm pretty sure that faceplate is new. If you agree, let me know in the comments, and if I'm wrong, well, let me know there too. In third place, we have the Spot, and I have a soft spot, haha, for the Spot because I remember watching the Spider-Man cartoons with my dad growing up, and the very first one I ever remember seeing, the Spot was the villain, and I just thought he was so interesting, and of course, across the Spider-Verse, it gave him so much more depth. Again, no pun intended. Anyways, this minifig is super cool because I never thought it's something we would get in LEGO, and getting back printing as well as new head, new torso, hip, and leg printing is so cool, and I love the way this figure turned out. So he's taking the number 3 spot on this list. The number 2 spot goes to Captain America from the first Avenger. Now, technically, the only new thing here, of course, is that World War II armor torso, but still, it looks so good, and we've waited so long to get this figure that it feels like it's finally paid off. Do you guys realize that the only 2 suits that we still need to get from MCU Steve Rogers in the MCU are his proper Civil War suit as well as the stealth suit from Winter Soldier. So we're 2 suits away from being able to say we have every single MCU Captain America variant thanks to this one being added to the roster, who of course comes in second place. And in first place, there are no strings on me, is Ultron. Now, this is a comic book inspired Ultron, and I think they did a great job of making him look super, super menacing while also being a minifigure in LEGO form, of course. This brings back the neck piece for Ultron, which has not been seen in quite some time, since I believe 2016 was the last time. Then, of course, we get a brand new leg, torso, and head print with front and back printing on the torso and head, as well as new leg printing. Look, we did get an Ultron in the Avengers Tower, Ultron Mark 1, but that's not like a battle-ready Ultron. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, we haven't gotten a final battle, could take all the Avengers on himself, Ultron, since 2015, and being able to get one now, almost, well, actually, an entire decade later, plus, on top of that, it being in a $15 set is just the coolest thing LEGO has done for the superheroes theme in this entire wave. Well, maybe other than bringing Superman back, but that's DC. Anyways, I love this figure, and he deservedly should get the number 1 spot. So let's go ahead and zoom out the video and call it a day. Alright guys, let me know if you agree with my ranking. I feel like I've got my pulse on things and that it's pretty accurate, but of course, I'd love to hear what you guys think. So be sure to drop a comment down below and weigh in, and I'll see you guys on the next video.